I ask for the truth on behalf of Alison Tansell concerning relationship issues. I ask this in the name of truth, right conduct, peace, love and non-violence. Blessed be to the truth always. And we just cut the deck there for you, Alison, and we'll just move the cards to the side, and I'll deal out 3 cards for the past, the present and the future. In this case it's the recent past influence, which we just placed there, the present influence, which is the next one that we put there, and then of course finally the immediate future influence that we just place here for you there. Now of course the recent past and the immediate future are about a moon phase apart, so you could say about 3 or 4 weeks or so ago in the first card here, with which the recent past influence. And we'll just pull that card out and bring it round to show you there, and we'll just flip it nice and slow. And of course the meaning of this card, or the interpretation of this card, will be relevant to your recent past, about 3 or 4 weeks or so ago, connected to this relationship issue that you've asked about. And we just pull that round there, and as you can just see there, and we've got of course in this particular case it's the five of swords, isn't it? And of course I suppose really it seems as though, yes, you've got like the yellow of the gut chakra there, haven't you? When you check that one out, you've got the yellow of the gut chakra, and of course it really points toward conflict in a way. It's really more the 5 of wands, isn't it, really? This is the 5 of wands in that sense. I said the 5 of swords, which is the 5 of wands really, because that's to do with strife, isn't it? The Lord of strife. Conflict and defeat, correction. No, it's the, sorry, 5 of swords, I got it wrong again. Oh, I got it right at first, didn't I? Conflict and defeat, sorry. The Lord of Defeat. Crowley calls the 5 of swords the Lord of Defeat. And of course, yes, as we said, we've got the yellow of the gut chakra, so you're feeling it there, and of course it's a struggle. I sort of got this feeling as though one step forward, 2 steps back. That's what I'm sort of getting from it. Why would I get that feeling? I don't know. I mean, you originally asked about the couple on the beach. What do you think? What do you think about this? But it seems as though I got a funny feeling as though, yes, there's been disagreements, not major disagreements or anything, but it could be something that changes things, couldn't it? But nevertheless, it's got like overtones of a lot. 5 is loss. Remember, 5 is loss. So of course the 5 of swords, the element of air, of course, swords is the element of air, isn't it? Which is creative and transmissive powers. So it's of course to do with your ability to communicate, transmit your or express yourself, and of course to do with knowledge as well, isn't it? But a loss of communication, a communication breakdown, I think really, if I was writing this, being the author of a deck of tarot cards, I would call, yes, defeat, but I would call the Five of Swords communication breakdown, or something like that. It's as if there has been a communication breakdown just lately, and you feel as if you've been taking one step forward, two steps back anytime you want to talk about something or whatever. Over the past month or so, it's been a bit of a struggle for you, of course. Notice the struggle there, as you can see. But let's just see what this next card has. Now the next card is of course the position of the present influence. This is you right now. So let's just turn the card over there, not nice and slow there, not to disturb its energy or anything, and we just pull it over there, and there you go. You got so really, yeah. So we've got, to some degree, the six of coins, of course, the Lord of Success, and this tends to focus on that, doesn't it? Material and spiritual prosperity in that. So that's how it views it, how this deck tends to view it. And I suppose really when you think of it, I suppose you're looking out there on all that you survey or all that you own or whatever. I suppose that you could bet like when you're on the beach and you're looking out and you're there with him or whatever. But it seems as though regardless of, we're coming to a regardless of really, regardless of the lack of communication, there is nevertheless a material and spiritual you've prospered materially and spiritually, physically and spiritually, regardless of that. Maybe you've got what you want, which is of course the home life, or what do you call it, the ideal sort of situation, as you would say. And regardless of the communication breakdown, is that a worthwhile sacrifice though? Is that a worthwhile sacrifice? I don't know. I want to pull out this next card just to see what happens and where we go from here. Because, of course, for as much as you've got the Lord of Success and you look out at what you've achieved and all the things that you've been able to get or buy with whatever it is you've got, or in this case, of course, you with your relationship, look out at all the successes that you've had, all those nights out and all those nights in, of course. But nevertheless, this communication breakdown just recently, maybe it's been a wake-up call. Maybe the communication breakdown has been a wake-up call, and it actually helped things get better instead of worse. Let's just see what the immediate future holds for you there, just around the corner. Let's just see what's going on there. And of course, in this case, the Four of Discs, the Lord of Power, Crowley calls it, but of course, firm foundation. This deck tends to call it, doesn't it? Firm foundation. So it looks as though whatever it is you're achieving now is of course a firm foundation, spiritually and materially, of course. And that's not a bad thing, is it? In that regard. with that, of course, the only negative side of what's going on here is this here, isn't it? This little problem here, this communication breakdown that recently took place. But nevertheless, regardless of that, you have prospered materially, and you'll get a firm foundation for the future. If in the next 3 or 4 weeks or so, around about February this time next month, around about you know, I suppose heading toward March, really, you'll have a good footing for wherever the relationship goes from there. But of course, the communication breakdowns that do take place now and again, maybe there's been a bit of a struggle just recently trying to get things underway, or get things going, as you would say. But either way, things are in your favour regardless of that. So whatever that communication breakdown was, why am I sort of like getting the feeling as though the communication breakdown isn't so much with him, but more with maybe his relatives, or your relatives, or those around you, and you seem as if you've lost the argument with them, but nevertheless there's a firm foundation with him nevertheless. Regardless, you're quite capable of going it alone and doing your own stuff there. That's an interesting way of looking at it. That was just a thought that just crossed my mind then, as if thoughts are allowed to do that. But for now, it looks as though your relationship for the foreseeable future, between now and sort of mid to late February, seem to be okay. So around about the of course, it's the 19th of January, so let's call it the 19th of February. We could just check the almanac there just to see if there's anything particularly of interest next month, whatever the phase of the moon there might be, I don't know. But yeah, February, 19th of February, as you would say, 20, yeah, round off, it's a new moon on the 15th of February, so you can initiate new magic there. And of course, with it being what it is now, of course, you can probably use the first quarter on the 24th of January. You can use that just around the corner there to heal. So if you need any healing done for this this conflict that's taken place here, where you feel as if you've lost the argument with maybe the in-laws who don't like you, or of course the in-laws that don't like him, of course, maybe there's a chance to heal. If you want to talk about it on the 24th of January, or just 3 days before or 3 days after, and then you can of course initiate the magic on the 15th of February for that. Of course, banishing around about the 7th of February as well. You can banish from a full moon anyway, can't you? Which this time is a blue moon, of course, on the 31st of January, which of course a blue moon is a second full moon in the month, which is very rare, isn't it? That's why they say once in a blue moon. So maybe you can work that one out there as well and use the energy of the blue moon, who knows? Because maybe it's once in the blue moon that you only live once, and you can only get a chance to sort things out properly here, and you've only got one life, only one set of in-laws, and a lot of regrets are there when they are gone, and you can't say sorry to each other anymore. So maybe I do sort of get this feeling, this conflict, this defeat, this feeling of loss, this one step forward, 2 steps back just recently, was to do with some communication you've had with your parents or the in-laws or those around you in some regard, because right now, of course, you've really succeeded in your relationship from a material and a spiritual point of view, and of course there's a firm footing there, firm foundations and completion there, and very powerful actually, to some degree. But just be careful that you don't end up miserly, don't go over the edge and end up sort of not over the edge, don't go to excess, where you end up being a bit tight-fisted, a bit miserly, but it's secure. The security you had in this relationship, materially as well as spiritually. So if it's your feet under the table to provide for you for the rest of your life, then maybe that's what it is. But of course, that's not just what relationships are about. And of course, if the energy of that, of conflict and defeat there, the Lord of Defeat with the Five of Swords there in the recent past is there, sort of waiting to sort of show his head again somewhere in the near future. Make sure that you heal what needs healing. Other than that, these cards for you have spoken.